however, we're also powerless to distract him from his attachment to Krishna's lotus feet. He cherished his connection with Bhima and his other brothers and Draupadi only because they had pure love for Krishna. Anyone or anything associated with Krishna is dear to a pure Vaishnava. So when Vaishnavas come together in either casual or lifetime relationships, they naturally develop love for one another. They relish great pleasure tasting together the rasas of Krishna consciousness. Their spiritual assets expand as each devotee's good qualities magnify those of his or her spiritual companions. In the family of the Pandavas, the wife and younger brothers especially benefited from following the head of Yudhishthira. This is Vaishnava Sangam. This is Vaishnava marriage. It's not the same as Vedic marriage. And it's a little confusing for us what our position is with this. So it requires some subtle discrimination. How do we get that subtle discrimination? We were mentioning the other day in Mother Narayani's class, a question often comes, how do I know which varna I should be in? Sometimes we don't know which ashram we should be in. Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments on the first verse of Shikshashtakam. He says that this Chaito Darpana Marjanam, you have a very dirty mirror. You can't see anything in it. It's black. But when you start cleaning it with a cloth, maybe it has some very heavy grease or something on it, after a little while you can kind of see some faint image in it. Your form in a very faint way. And he said that first thing you can see, which comes from your chanting, is your position in Varna and Ashram. Similarly, Prabhupada, his last instruction about Varnashram Dharma, Maharaj was showing us on the video the other day, that they were showing Prabhupada is on his bed in the Krishna Balaram Mandir in his rooms, and he's still dictating the 13th chapter of the 10th canto, his commentaries on it. And Prabhupada was saying we should have Varnashram Dharma, it's very important. And then he says how to establish Varnashram Dharma. By reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not such a complicated thing. But when we try to force people into little boxes and little holes and do things which are not really natural, it disturbs people. But if things are natural, if we live, as Bhakti Raghava Maharaj was saying, I think it was him saying this, that if we live in a natural farm community, maybe Maharaj, it was yourself saying this thing, then women's roles become very easy and very natural. But if we're living in an artificial place, then it's very unnatural, it's very, very difficult. So we should have that, but we should keep Krishna in the center of things. Otherwise, what's the use of everything? What's the purpose of this movement? And how will there be real love? But if someone's really a Vaishnava, and they're going to respect their wife, because she's a devotee. How many lifetimes, I tell sometimes Grihastha devotees this thing, how many lifetimes did you have to take birth? How many millions or billions of births did you have to take before you had the good fortune of having a Vaishnava wife or a Vaishnava husband? It's a very, very rare thing. And we've seen sometimes devotees in our movement, they end up getting married to someone who's not a devotee. It's a very, very difficult situation for them. So it's a very, very great fortune, and we should respect and we should appreciate that. So, I'm sorry this is such a big subject, and I just touched on a little bit. It would take many days to describe this properly. You just thrown out a few ideas about this. That in Vaishnava culture, we see women in a different way. We shouldn't see them as their body and become attracted by that, this verse is saying. But it's not that doesn't mean that we shouldn't love them. It doesn't mean that women should be driven out and we should just have brahmacharis and sannyasis. It won't work. And if we try something like that, what will happen will be something very sick, because those persons will end up cheating and do some illicit behavior secretly. Better just be a simple, honest person. My Guru Maharaj used to say that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Petit Pavan. He's the deliverer of the fallen, but he's not Kapatya Pavan, the deliverer of the crooked. It's better just to be a simple, honest person, to be very, very fallen, but be what I am, be myself. Yesterday, Harisari Prabhu was telling us at the prasadam table that someone asked Srila Prabhupada that in Vedic literature, in the Bhagavatam, it says that when someone gets 50 years of age, they should renounce their family life and they should take sannyas. This is applied for the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada said, if they're Krishna conscious, it doesn't apply for them. As Bhakti Raghava Maharaj was saying nicely the other day, everyone should take sannyas. But sannyas doesn't mean you put on orange clothes and have a stick in your hand. But it means you should be a sannyasi in your heart. Everyone has to come to the point of renunciation. But the Bhagavatam, the 14th chapter, the 10th canto, where Brahma prays, he says, Stani Stita, Shuddhigatamtana Ramanoga. That when someone is hearing Krishna Katha, and they're worshipping Him with their body, minds, and words, then Stani Stita, they don't have to go anywhere. Prabhupada comments on that. That means they don't have to change their ashram. If your ashram is a place of Krishna consciousness, if it's not a place of Krishna consciousness, like Srila Prabhupada's marriage, his wife is causing him some problems, then that should be rejected. Everything should be rejected for Krishna. But if you have a Krishna conscious marriage, what is a necessity? Who do we give more respect to? Ramachandra Puri, who's a sannyasi and a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, or Ramananda Roy, who's associate of Mahaprabhu, but he's a grihastha. We give more respect out of necessity to Ramananda Roy because he's a greater devotee. And therefore, I think we mentioned in class the other day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives these 8 types of respect. Nadamatthara Maryada. We give respect to anyone as a human being. More than that, Sangam Matera Maryada, we give respect to some person who's a civilized human being. More than that, Raja Maryada is someone who's a king or a leader. More than that, Vidya Maryada is someone who has knowledge. More than that, Saguna Maryada is someone who has some good qualities. More than that, we give Varna Maryada, we give respect to someone who's following the Varna, especially the Brahmas. But more than that, we give respect to Ashram Maryada, which especially means the sannyasis. But more than the respect to the sannyasis, we give respect to the 8th and final position, which is Bhakti Maryada. We give respect to someone who has devotion. That's as our society. We don't look at someone, whether they're a man or a woman, or what ashram. We want to look and see what is the quality of their bhakti. That's the direction we need to go in. So we'll stop there. It's a big subject. Any comments or questions? I'm sure there must be, Mataji.
A couple of things come to my mind. First of all, it's interesting to see that any culture where God consciousness is the center is indeed based on the same underlying principles. So again, it's not even that long ago that we can find the same principles, even in